You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Witches of East End After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Witches of East End After Show.
Hello, Witches of East End fans! Welcome to the Witches of East End After Show, listening to the Bewitched theme song.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm your host, Yael Tygiel. With me, of course, is Sam Davidson, our newest co-host on Witches of East End.
Hello.
We are super excited to just jump into this episode. I think it's really great that we finally moved past the last season and we're really like getting information this season.
Exactly.
What did you think of this episode?
I really liked it. It made me feel like the guys and the girls really need to team up. It's time to put aside their feelings and figure out who they are together.
The Gardners and the Beauchamps.
Yes.
I was like, wait, the Freyas.
Yeah.
Well, we start the episode off with some flashbacks and we get the whole story, or most of the story, of how they got to East End.
Still a little unclear. It's jumping through something and then there's a snake and there's a key.
Yeah.
I was a little confused.
Well, so let's discuss it. So we see that the girls are through the portal with Wendy, Ingrid and Freya, Wendy, and Victor, and they're waiting for Joanna and Frederick to come through. Mm-hmm. Joanna comes through. Frederick is not. He has not come through yet, and then he does.
And finally, it's about time, right?
Yeah.
Poor Joanna. It made me so sad. Like, I'm not a mother yet, but I feel like when I would be, I would not want to leave my son behind.
Yeah.
And to have him do that to them, and I'm just so interested about her father. What is going on there and why he chose him, and those are still so many, we don't know anything about that yet at all.
Yes, and I hope we eventually get into Asgard and see what that not only looks like but what's happening. So Frederick eventually comes through and he says, give me the key, which is the snake looking thing, and I'll lock the portal. Sure, the key locks. Sure, that's a key. We're not going to question that. And then what does he do? He throws the key through the portal and lets King Grandfather, I wrote down in my notes, King Gramps, come through the portal wearing the key. And as we remember from last season when Wendy wore the key on her wrist, it made you evil.
It's a beautiful bracelet.
Yeah, no, it was gorgeous. I really wanted one, but it makes you evil. And so King Gramps curses everyone. And then
but what did that mean, his curse? Exactly. What were the consequences for that, all of their specific curses?
I think it's odd that he said, I curse you, and didn't explain what their curses were. And they had to figure it out, that Wendy is now a cat. Basically, and has 9 lives. Joanna has 1 life that will never end, but her daughters will die and have to be reborn over and over again. Did he curse Victor? That's a question I want to know.
And he's been gone for so long, too. There hasn't been a lot of explanation about his return. He's been nice and helpful. And then Frederick comes back and, he hadn't seen him in a long time, too. So it just, where's he been? Where have they been? It's all kind of confusing.
And we will get to Victor. But so Wendy fights off her father and cuts off his arm, which was very cool.
It was pretty cool.
Because I was like, wait, but they have the key. He doesn't have the key. Cut off his arm. He and Frederick, Grandpa King Gramps and Frederick go back through, and the portal is sealed. So that's where we start and we get those flashbacks. And I want to talk about Joanna and Frederick because she sees the mark the king's mark branded on his chest. And we understand from Wendy that means that he has vowed himself to the king and he is loyal to the king. And so, of course, Wendy still doesn't trust him. And as we saw last week when we had Machen Amick on the show, she said that you shouldn't trust him.
I want to, though.
I don't. I refuse.
But okay, the thing is that with that branding, they knew that he had given himself over to him.
Yeah.
He took, he left his whole family and threw the snake key away. And I mean, of course he was going to have branding.
Yeah.
And you can't really get rid of that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was in the past. Let it go, right?
No. No. I like that Wendy had a good point. Like, we don't know if he's still loyal. But Frederick also, had the most obvious response, which if he wouldn't have said it, we would have doubted him even more, which was, yes, you know that I was loyal to him, but then I saw that you were right and that he was evil, and I've been in prison, and because they don't know what's going on in Asgard. They don't know what's been happening.
There's no branding removal system over there. What's he supposed to do about it?
Well, he comes and they follow him. Perfect segue. Joanna and Wendy decide maybe we shouldn't trust Frederick, and they follow him into the woods, doing a really cool potion.
Cool spell.
Yeah. They can see where he's been and follow it, which is so amazing.
It's like a scent, but with a sight thing.
Yes.
So cool.
Yeah. And I love when they're in the forest and Wendy's like, oh, reset button, and does it again. Oh, so cool.
I know. Can we please have that in real life? Yeah. Obama, can you help?
That's what we need. That's what we need, Obama. We need to be able to track people more than we already can. Let's be honest, if he had a cell phone, they would have just done that.
Yeah. But you could not see him killing that bird.
No. Well, that was in person. Then they eventually were there, and he was there. And so we see him kill the bird and disappear, which is something they didn't know he could do. And Frederick, tells them, I'm trying to get rid of the branding. I don't believe in what King Gramps is doing. That's until we have a real name.
King Gramps.
King Gramps it is. So it has been written, so it shall be. I don't know what it is. So they see him shirtless in the woods trying to make the thing disappear. It's not disappearing. And I love that twice in this episode, Joanna confronted Frederick. Earlier, she confronts him. I have it written down. I have confronts Frederick.
Well, it's right at the beginning.
Yes.
She does, yeah.
She confronts him in the beginning, and then at the end, she confronts him again. And he says he's trying to move on. And I love that. I also love that Wendy knew that her earring was enchanted without, she just knew it.
I know. She's so smart.
She is.
I really like her.
But, when you go to someone and say, hey, there's a problem, you got to have proof. And so Wendy says to Joanna, I know he enchanted it. And Joanna's like, how do you know? You think. Whatever, I know.
Well, it's just so hard because Joanna's weak right now, as it is, and it's her son who she hasn't seen in how many years? Hundreds. And it's, of course she wants, it's sad to me. That's why I don't want him to be evil. Because it would be heartbreaking as a mother.
Yeah. Well, at the end, we see Joanna feels guilt. She feels that it was her fault that he slipped away from her. And when you watch it, when you see the flashback, neither of them are at fault. When you're pulling in opposite directions, eventually you get to the end of the hand and you let go.
Right, but it was his choice at the end of the day.
To go.
And then he even said later, I let go of your hand. I mean, I feel like he had this crazy master plan, and Joanna, unfortunately, was just along for the ride and was just ridden in guilt for hundreds of years.
Yeah. It makes me sad that she feels guilty because I don't trust him.
I mean, it's basically her curse in a way, is feeling the guilt of losing her children. So it's like that all over again.
Yeah. Well, Wendy goes to the morgue and finds the body of Dr. Foster, and it has the King's brand on it, and she wakes him up. And he says what he had said last week, which was that it was a warning to us all. And he says to Wendy, you're one of them. So he knows that she's a witch or that she's a Beauchamp or something. He knows that she's something. And she believes that Frederick may have murdered Dr. Foster. What do you think?
I think probably yes.
You think Frederick murdered Dr. Foster, but he's good?
Yeah, I mean, people have their mistakes. It's not like he murdered the main character, so let's give him some chops. I don't know. I don't think he's good. I think that he is in between. He's trying to figure it out. And if anything, he's one of those villains that you're gonna root for at the end of the day, because he does. It seems like he has heart in him. I think
under his gorgeous body.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
That's what I think it might be.
But the twin thing, him and Freya, like, I so badly want to believe that they really have this connection, but at the same time, I also think it could be a good and bad,
That's an interesting argument. Speaking of Freya, let's talk about what Freya does this episode. She is on her way to Santo Domingo to see Killian. Yeah, really sad. And of course, Joanna gives her a necklace to protect her. She says, I want you to be safe and to find who you're looking for. And then she goes and she finds him. But she also meets his wife, apparently, Ava. They got married.
Yeah, it's pretty fast.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I think that she knew, because she knew kind of who he was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think that, and he still doesn't even know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
So she preyed on him. And I think that she is a witch or some kind of supernatural being of some sort. I'm not quite sure what, because that actress has played a witch in so many other things. So I am like, she's a witch. She's a witch.
Right.
And she probably is, but she found him. She didn't just rescue him randomly, and they fell in love and she saved him. Like, it was planned. I'm not really quite sure if she is evil.
You are so trusting.
I know, it's really bad. I'm from the Midwest. It's terrible. I should never be abducted by a witch, or else I will be a goner.
Yeah, apparently. I disagree with you on some things. I agree that Ava knew exactly who he was. She sought him out. It wasn't a coincidence. And I don't trust that her intentions are good. I don't think she fell in love with him at all. I think he thinks he's in love with her. I mean, they just met. It's been a week, guys. If we can calculate, it's been maybe a week and a half.
I could fall in love with him in a week and a half. I'm just saying.
Sure. I mean, I'm not saying we couldn't fall in love with him. I'm saying he couldn't fall in love with her. It's been a week and a half. You're still in that infatuation.
Do you think
period.
she could have put a spell? But how? Really? You think?
She could have put a spell on him.
Because he seems like, with the things he said to Freya were so upsetting. It basically, like, the whole last season of their thing, it just shunned it. It was really upsetting. Like, I hope you didn't break off your marriage for me. And it's like, well, why else would I? But with Ava, she's probably not good. You're right. She's probably not too good. And the way she approached Freya privately, was very, very interesting, because she clearly knew something had happened between them, not just a woman's instinct kind of thing. I think she definitely knew that what had happened, and she was so nice to her. Yeah, that's what was a bit alarming, I think.
That's true. I think that Ava probably bewitched him. I think that is definitely some sort of spell. I don't even know if she is a witch, but you're right. She's definitely not human. I think she says that she's a witch or has magical powers, but doesn't say that she's specifically a witch. I think there's something more to it.
Maybe she's just like a wannabe witch.
Maybe she does witchcraft, but isn't naturally witch-born.
Right.
Sorry, I've been watching a lot of The Craft. Over and over and over again. Yay, 90s.
Love that movie.
I think that Ava is evil. I think that she is out to get Killian, because I think the Gardner boys also have something special about them, or that she's using them to get closer to the Beauchamp girls. Also a possibility. Not to get too far into predictions, but I think that Ava is evil. That's what I believe. And Killian kind of knows who he is. He knows that, you know, he has a brother and that Freya and him were something, and that he came to see her before the wedding and said, run away with me. I think the reason I believe that he is under Ava's spell is because he said all these things that really negated last season. Mm-hmm. And I think that those were words that she had forced out of him, but that eventually his feelings for Freya would come to the forefront.
Yeah, because Ava also like very much took the wheel. I'll get the tickets.
Yeah.
I'll pack in an hour.
Yep.
You know, and her doing that might have very well meant that she somehow put a spell on him and was controlling his actions and what he was saying.
She's kind of a puppet master.
Yeah. Yeah.
So before we move on, I want to take a moment to talk about iTunes. People at home, we clearly love this show. We're having an in-depth conversation about witchcraft. We clearly are fans of the show, and we do this out of the goodness of our heart, and we give it to you all for free because we care. And what you could do to help us out is go onto iTunes and rate and review the show. That's all we're asking for. Rate and review. Click 5 stars if you like us. If you don't like us, click 4 stars. I guess we'll take it. And leave us a comment letting us know what we're doing well, what we could be doing better. Also, you can talk to us on iTunes. Leave us comments there. I know I go onto iTunes and have conversations with people about different theories and stuff on the show. So please comment. Let's move on to Ingrid for a moment. Ingrid is moving out, which I did not expect to happen.
I don't get it.
I know she said she would, but I didn't think she would.
Her actions are very much confusing me right now. Kind of upsetting me a bit.
Why are they confusing?
Well, I just feel like she now has this, I know, I'm sure we'll get into this new allegiance to Dash, which kind of pisses me off.
Okay.
And I mean, the thing is that in her old life or lives, she was not that great of a person.
Okay.
I mean, she did something. Yeah, I mean, Wendy ended up killing her because she had to. But she's so benevolent in this life and just wants good. And I totally respect what she's doing with her career right now. But I just don't understand the move she's making. I don't know.
Is it possible that in her past lives she was just as benevolent and then some man? Because we did see in the past life where Wendy killed her, it was a man who kind of led her astray and made her not as good and kind as she was.
That's true. That could be her weakness.
Maybe. I mean, it could also be we have the tarot cards that said one of the boys is the trickster and one is her soulmate. And maybe it is that Dash is the trickster, and he's not a trickster towards Freya, but he's going to be a trickster for Ingrid.
Perhaps.
Maybe.
He doesn't even know who he is, though, still. Yeah. And she's, like, kind of trying to guide him already. And she's explaining that you're a witch.
Yeah. I absolutely love that she goes to see him. And she says it. I love that she says it. I thought that it was going to be... Because she starts to explain it to him. And then we're interrupted by a sound. And we'll talk about Dash... Let's just talk about Dash. So Dash, as we know, is getting blackmailed. And Dash does some research and figures out that it's Kyle Hutton. And I'm going to be real honest. I thought when he went and blew up Kyle's car, I thought that it was the wrong person. Because it was so easy. You know, I thought he was going to end up blowing up someone's car. And he calls him and goes, Kyle Hutton, this is Dash Gardner. I just left you something in your car, and if you keep blackmailing me, I'm going to do something worse to you. That's what he says. And all I could think was, it's the wrong person. You called someone and said, hey, I just destroyed your car and then threatened your life. That's where I thought the show was going to go.
Well, all I know is like a smart blackmailer would only be more amped by someone burning their car. They would want to get even more revenge. It was stupid. I know the guy's a doctor, but I'm not really sure he's the brightest crayon in the box.
Right.
Yeah.
So, of course, Kyle breaks into Dash's house. He's like, I know I'm in your house. It's nice. Dash goes, and Dash, Kyle pulls out a gun. Dash waves it away and then kills him. Electrocutes him to death.
Like, what did he think he was when Ingrid comes in and tells him, you're a witch.
You're a witch.
I'm sorry,
a warlock. Yeah.
Whatever.
He's like, what are you talking about? This is normal.
He just thought I thought I was going crazy. But, I mean, you can't kill, like, he needed to know that something was happening to him that was supernatural.
You're a doctor. You know how the human body works. You electrocuted someone with your hands.
Yeah, you can't just do that by being crazy with your mind. He was, and the look on his face when she told him, I thought he would have been like, this makes so much sense. I knew it. And he was like, what?
Yeah. How dare you? That doesn't make any sense.
That's the first time this came to my mind. Like, what?
So, eventually when Killian comes home, Dash is like, go away, because he's been hallucinating. And he sees that Killian is alive, which, you know, if Kyle is still alive, his blackmail would mean nothing.
Right.
Because Killian is not dead. Dash did not kill him.
So he was shockingly happy to see his brother.
Yeah. Especially because Killian didn't remember what had happened. So he doesn't know that Dash almost killed him. He believes that he went out on his ship and then the ship wrecked. So back to Ingrid, she tells Dash that he's a witch or warlock, and then she helps him dispose of the body.
That's a really cool spell that she did, by the way.
Oh, the jar with the voodoo doll?
Yes.
She says as long as the doll stays underwater, the body will stay unfound.
The doll was bound to somehow come out of the water by the end of the season.
Yeah. No, there's no way that this murder is going to go unnoticed. But there's no evidence that they did it, seeing as how they murdered him with magic.
Right. So, he could have, I mean, it probably was just a heart attack.
Or he got electrocuted himself.
Yeah.
There's no, they could have just left the body somewhere.
In a bathtub would have been a good thing with a blow dryer right next to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on, guys. Watch some CSI. Let's go. So let's talk about Victor for a second. Victor is almost home and doesn't know that Frederick is there. But we do see Victor in the flashbacks, and I want to talk about his mustache.
It was very interesting.
Why?
No,
why was it there?
I don't know. I'm really not quite sure. Why do you think it was there?
I have no idea. It was silly looking, and Frederick had a silly looking mustache as well in the flashbacks. They had this weird mustachy goatee, dumb facial hair thing going on, and it looked silly.
Well, perhaps that was a thing of the past, and that's why we think it's so silly.
Whatever year that they came through, because we have no idea when it is that they came through.
We have no clue when this was at all.
It's hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, hundreds. I mean,
that could be anything.
Yeah. But this also was a different world, like a different dimension or what have you. So
stupid facial hair was okay. No offense to anyone who has this specific facial hair. It just did not look good on them.
I mean, there could have been horns there. They could have had horns.
Yeah. That would have made it better, actually.
Really?
Yes. Yes, I would have liked it better. So Victor's almost home without a mustache. And Victor comes up to the door and he hears something. And so he walks around the front a little bit looking for whatever it is. Did you think that it was whatever was following Ingrid in the library?
Yeah. Or someone involved in the same, that was on the same team.
Okay.
I mean, I think I would hope kind of, because that's what I like. It was like last season that the antagonist was somebody that we knew. Someone that we see.
Yeah.
And we've met a lot of new people this season that haven't really meant much. And to me, I think that means that one of them perhaps is not up to good. So
who have we met this season? We've met Frederick. We met Dr. Foster, but he's dead.
Yes.
We have the green creature with the tentacles.
Yes.
That I don't like to talk about. We have the shadow that killed Dr. Foster that may have been Frederick or the green creature or something else.
Right, because what we learned too is that, people can shapeshift very easily.
Yeah.
So it really could be anybody. Or that guy.
Tommy, the EMT.
Oh, that wasn't who I was referring to, but that's actually a pretty good idea. Or the guy
yes.
that Ingrid,
yes.
the one that she got the job with.
Dr. Foster?
There was another person, though.
Her assistant?
Yes.
Oh, the one who made her do the spell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he's been the one kind of like pulsating it, do more, do more, do more.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah, I no longer trust him. I am full of distrust. So Victor thinks he's safe, goes to open the door, and then is kidnapped, wakes up in what looks like a sewer, and is bound nicely and covered in blood and looks beaten. What do you think is happening there other than torture?
I think he's still alive.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not quite sure because it's obviously someone from the other world. Mm-hmm. Because he hasn't been in this world for too long to piss that many people off.
Well, he has, but he was a college professor at some university somewhere else.
Right. But not in the witchy,
Yeah.
I think it has to be someone from Asgard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, though. It's kind of, they leave so much up in the open that we don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think this might be a good time to go to predictions.
And
we got the
now,
blinky lights.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
For those who aren't watching the video, we have blinky lights and they're working. Sorry, I get excited because they're flashy and fun. Sam, what do you think is going to happen? Did you see no, I didn't even see a promo. Did you see a promo for next week?
I did not, actually.
All right, then any guess is good.
For next week,
Mm-hmm.
well, I want to see some Killian and Dash face off.
Okay.
And some sexual tension between Freya and Killian.
Okay.
And I also would like to see some Frederick. He's going to continue to be bad. I know. He's going to continue to throw the audience off somehow, and we're not going to know what's happening. That's all I got. I mean, Wendy's going to keep on living her last life for at least a little while.
Nice.
Let's hope so.
Those are all very good predictions.
Thank you.
I think Ingrid and Dash are going to keep training with magic. I definitely think that there's something between them, and someone wrote on YouTube, someone left a comment, so whoever that is, thank you, that they agree there is tension between Ingrid and Dash. And so we ship them. That is happening. I think Frederick is going to continue to be evil. I don't trust him. I think he's going to be revealed as evil, but not the evil that he's going to somehow redeem himself this season. Mm-hmm. As much as I don't want to see the green creature again, I do want an explanation of who and what and why, but I'm afraid of it with all its creepy tentacles. I think Victor is going to continue to be tortured, and we might hopefully get to see who it is that is torturing him, and maybe they will be our big bad of the season.
Or what it is.
Yeah. Maybe it's King Gramps. The one-armed King Gramps.
I hope he grew his arm back. I don't hope, but I'm picturing this one-armed old man going around.
Well, I think that's it for this week. Sam, where can the people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter at SamD43, on Instagram at Sam Davidson 87 on Instagram.
Oh, all the numbers.
I know, so many. There's too many Sam Davidsons in the world, so you got to get creative.
All right, well, the people can find me online at yael.tv. That's YAEL.tv. There you'll find info about the beautiful stylings from Siren's Boudoir. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram, Google+, and YouTube at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. And we will see you next week for more Witches of East End.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.